think it was banned in game 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right, it was.
As far as flexibility goes for CLG.
The Braum is there.
Oh,
This could mean Dyrus' Olaf. He has been playing well on it, or consistently in lane and showing up well to the fights, but it could still be anything. TSM has an open board with Braum on the side of CLG.
The thing is, even though Olaf is up, Lulu is banned, and that's a big part of empowering the other members when they put Bjergsen on Lulu to give Dyrus the speed and the shields to be on the front line and be the carry. So they've kind of kneecapped that Olaf strategy a little bit by taking out the main support champion that you would want to run in mid lane.
Team Solomid definitely focusing on that Tristana of Doublelifts once again. Maybe the jinx to their side. They do finally get the Gragas away from Xmithie. It would be nice for Santorin here. Dyrus looking to grab a Kog'Maw as well to flex around if needed.
I do like this, you know, make Xmithie play something else. I was looking for, as I kept saying, the Ekko and the Gragas denial, but at least they're going to deny some of the early game pressure. Xmithie did get that early Gragas gank onto Bjergsen that really determined a lot of the early flow of the mid lane. So he won't be able to make those body slam plays. Ekko takes a bit longer to get going, but Xmithie still, if he does decide to stick with Cinderhulk jungler, of course, still will be that team fight presence that CLG have been wanting from him.
Still probably the expected pick for them for sure. I wonder if CLG wants to hide both of their solo lanes here with picks 2 and 3 like they did in game 1, because in game 1 they picked Viktor and Yasuo in their last 2 rotations as kind of a surprise. But if they really did want to still go with the Yasuo composition, you'd almost want to lock it down now, because the priority of that pick has definitely escalated throughout this series.
Yeah, for sure it has. Both teams seeing the power that it's bringing in and the comfort level of each of the guys playing it. Bjergsen and ZionSpartan so far with those 2 plays. 10 seconds on the clock. CLG running out the clock every time they have the chance here, as they've done in picks and bans. The Ashe was banned first game away from Doublelift. He'll get it here in game 3 along with Xmithie on that tank Ekko.
Yeah, and the thing about tank Ekko is his great follow-up CC. It's pretty hard to be the main initiation, but Doublelift will provide that. Aphromoo will provide that with the Braum. A lot of crowd control here for CLG already in the first 3 picks. Gonna make it difficult for Turtle.
Stun for a stun. What do we got on the other side? Bjergsen would love to Zed, showing love to one of his old champs here.
I feel like
Switch and lock.
He's kind of threatening this assassin to dissuade Pobelter from going back to Viktor, because they haven't really been able to punish the early Viktor picks. But assassins are one thing that you can try and use, especially if you're the team that does have the Gragas early game advantage for ganking. It's a risky style, but don't think they would pick it until they see a lock-in from CLG.
Yeah, well, it's interesting if TSM goes with Nautilus and Janna, which they do here. It's a great setup for Yasuo, aside from the fact that they'd still be low wave clear and again would be forced into having to fight every time CLG makes a rotation.
Yeah. But again, Gragas, Janna picked up for double disengage options for their Kog'Maw.
Absolutely. This time, CLG wouldn't have the same disengage options if TSM picked Yasuo. It almost makes you want to see CLG pick it here, but then Yasuo can be disengaged, so a lot of mind games going on here. Basically, Zion gets to have his pick of the litter against top lane Nautilus, and Pobelter is in the unfortunate situation of having to pick his mid laner blind.
Still could decide to just go big tank. Zion has been quite the carry for the team so far. Why not be the Gnar? They've been playing around the bar perfectly, and his teleports have been on point. 3 games in a row for the Viktor. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So much comfort for Pobelter here again in the mid lane.
And this is the type of team composition that CLG would play very standard team fights with. 3 big tanks, and they need to be able to protect the less mobile Viktor and Ashe, who are going to be doing the majority of the damage here.
It's basically what you saw from CLG back in the day. Doublelift carry, go. A little bit of damage from mid lane.
TSM have to be expecting this, Viktor.
Yeah.
They've seen it already. They left it up. They didn't want to show their mid. So this is 100% something that they've planned and that Bjergsen is really comfortable in as a counter pick. And again, I really do think that we will see more of Santorin in the mid lane now because he is on the Gragas and because they have this, well, there it is. It's the Yasuo comp. They want to go for it.
And they need to support Bjergsen this time, because last time he got ganged up on early around level 4 when he got ganked in the mid lane. And it's the cornerstone of this TSM composition working. He needs to be the one who can provide threat onto Pobelter and Doublelift through the tank line. Yeah,
they do have to be kind of careful. If they extend really far and deep for that pressure mid, Ekko is actually really good at counter ganking. So even though Gragas can make the first move a lot better, Ekko, if he's in the vicinity, does have a pretty good counter gank from Fog of War.
So seeing now 30 seconds on the clock, not a Jinx, not a Trist. Do we feel that CLG is going to back away from trying to crush down turrets, play more of a 2v2 lane, or do they stick with it?
That's going to be a really interesting adaptation. We can see if they can make it. Obviously, from a champion perspective, they're not as good at taking turrets quickly as before, and TSM still has the ability to initiate on them if they ever do rotations. So the CLG style that has been working with them is just inherently less effective with these team compositions.
We'll see if they can pivot. That's what the word has been coming into game number 3 here, and we are just about to get on the Rift. Make sure to head over to Twitter, hashtag TSM, hashtag CLG at LOL Esports, and we'll be tallying those up throughout the game, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen. This has been already an amazing series, an explosive 39 kill plus second game of the series as we go into game 3 and possibly that match point for Counterlogic Gaming if TSM cannot pull themselves back in.
Yeah, it is do or die time for TSM, absolutely. The #1 seed is actually incredibly important. Even though TSM is already going to Worlds as first or second seed, being able to be in that top group at the Worlds for the group draw really impacts their matchup.
Other teams as well hanging on the win of this. Liquid hoping that TSM can pull themselves out of the rut here and start to get a victory. The players clearing their minds, entering the Rift now for game 3. It's Counterlogic Gaming versus Team Solomid for your North American Summer Split LCS Finals. We're into game 3. Again, Pobelter on the comfort of Viktor. 3 straight games in a row. ZionSpartan has been having great play in the top lane. And the TSM fans are still there and standing strong behind their team to get back in this series.
Fighting against the CLG chance as well, but TSM definitely audible through the noise of the crowd. Looks like we're getting some deep lane swap wards early. So definitely some tomfoolery to be happening early on in this one.
Trying to find the straggler there.
That's an unfortunate ward for CLG to be sitting on. I really like it when teams are going for these deep lane swap wards, when they place a ward in their own side of the jungle that they expect to be invaded on. It delays their push invade a little bit because someone had to go place that ward in the first place, but the potential for knowledge is just so great. They already saw with that one ward that Doublelift and Aphromoo have recalled to go bottom, and they know where Xmithie is starting his jungle. They really have knowledge of pretty much everyone.
Yeah. Even with that knowledge, though, they're going with the safe answer to it. Oh, never mind. They are sending the duo over around. This is not the safe answer. They're looking to try and pick up the kill off of this red buff damage.
CLG has no idea
while doing it. Really good side swipe here. They're going to come in from behind him. Will they answer the flash?
They got to go fast, otherwise he's going to get smited away.
You're going to be able to see him before they get through. The red buff does get stolen. ZionSpartan very low. Xmithie. Flash is still up. He has a chance to make a play here, but he's got to walk him around. Does he waste more time now? Flash is down for Xmithie. Not going to hurt too bad. Around 7 minutes, he'll have it back up. Hopefully he does not get in too much trouble for it.
Yeah, the great escape by Xmithie after he gets caught out, but honestly, an early game disaster for CLG nonetheless. Santorin gets the red buff. I think he also got the small monsters, so CLG has to walk away, not only with low health bars, but also no experience from that. Maybe they did get one of the small ones, but that's still a big loss.
It's going to be an early recall from ZionSpartan. He is sitting at 300 HP with no potion, and Dyrus on full health Nautilus. Well, easily can bully.
That works even better. Now you know the junglers and the flash for top is down around 7 minutes. That could easily be a repeat, or I should say a first-time gank for the top lane for Team Solomid. Things are about to slow down here as we are getting our first duo matchup in all the lanes.
This definitely keys up Santorin to make use of this Gragas early on. Not only does he have a lead on Ekko, but he knows there are 2 flashes down on CLG, and there's a mid lane that he also wants to affect. So there are several options for him to go with.
Very safe at this point for him if he can kick it into high gear in just a few minutes. Bjergsen and Pobelter trading HP along with CS in the mid lane. Xmithie going at it, going blues on each side. You can see Santorin a little bit faster of a clip here on his jungle.
Yeah, he better have.
Early having that red buff kind of helps. 3.5 minutes in, Santorin looks like he will start to get a little bit of an invade going towards the bot side. See if he can give Xmithie any trouble, but he's already out.
Nice shot.
Yeah, I mean, just to call back to what happened at level 1.
Yeah.
TSM knowing where CLG was going to be starting, the old super conservative TSM would have just used that knowledge to make sure they didn't fall behind early game. But to go in for the risk, go for the 2v2, attempt the smite steal, all big time risks.
There it is.
Santorin was trying to get the flash.
It's gonna be no way.
He was a minion? No minions.
That's the kind of things that TSM cannot have happen in the early game. They mirror imaged what they did to Bjergsen there, but completely aired it.
That is not what I meant when I said affect the mid lane for Santorin. All right, well, I guess technically he did get the exhaust out of Pobelter, but not worth it.
Specifically what happened there is Santorin was trying to threaten his body slam flash to make Pobelter flash away because his body slam was not going to connect. Pobelter kind of called him on his bluff, knowing he'd have the exhaust anyway, and also knowing that he was going to be in turret range if it did connect. And then Santorin ended up just taking turret shots and not burning the flash anyway, and it turned into a complete disaster.
Yeah, it all fell apart when Santorin didn't go immediately as Bjergsen got his knock up with Yasuo. You have to start walking right before that. There needs to be very clear communication so you can get to that lane because Pobelter's not that far extended.
A few of the lanes that are always getting the love from each other. Jungler to mid, jungler to top. It should definitely be clear calls in that situation. And we'll see if they can repair a bit of that mishap. Santorin's flash is now down pretty much equal with Xmithie in that aspect since the beginning of the game. Xmithie, however, now going to pick up his red, may be able to get effective off of that one as Santorin's going to be wearing off pretty soon here.
Yeah, that gank really fumbled Santorin's early edge. It gave Xmithie a lot of time to recover farm. It's also going to change the flash discrepancy on junglers, so the threat from Xmithie is going to be greater than the threat from Santorin in about 1 or 2 minutes when his flash comes back up.
All right. Stand behind me all the way up. Wildturtle takes a hit, but they cannot get the concussive blows passive down on Winter's Bite to stop Wildturtle. Good trade of damage back there. And Lustboy just getting the auto attacks in with the right shields as well. Pobelter has backed, so he had enough gold to get what he needed back in the lane. As you see, Xmithie was going towards the bot side, but just grabbing Scuttle. So CLG happy actually with the error that TSM just did. Know they can use this time to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, it also bought time, you know, for the top lane, which top lane already. Oh, here comes Santorin through lane.
Walk it off.
Aphromoo got a dash, so. But anyways, the top lane there, their flashes are coming right back up, so will be a lot less vulnerable as well. And the options getting a lot smaller.
Yeah. I have to note that was a really poor gank by Santorin. He had no flash to threaten. There were no summoner spells threatening for CLG.
A Janna Cog lane is a hard lane to go for a lane gank.
Especially,
as Gragas.
Especially with the minions at the turret. Like a lane gank could maybe work if he sneaks in the side brush.
Yeah.
And when he did that, he also provided a relief of pressure for both Pobelter and ZionSpartan because they know now that there's no way they're getting ganked by Santorin anytime soon.
Yeah, Xmithie did spend that time trying to get some wards down for Pobelter in that mid lane. So trying to protect against that bottom side.
Keeps him safe as well as no entry behind Dragon into that tri-brush if that wants to be Santorin's as well for bot lane. These guys 55 to 50, so no real discrepancy between those two. One will be cleaned up and the other as the weights push towards each other. As we make 8 minutes, definitely the slowest of our games here without any kills yet. We had seen first bloods by now, but it looks like both teams are playing very risk averse here to start after their errors.
I like this little ping up on top side from CLG. ZionSpartan communicating to Xmithie that there's a ward in that brush. They just pinged it. And he's going to run right by it. They already got the engage here. Dyrus does get his hook off.
Yep.
So they did have the information. Just
they were trying to time that with the Mega Gnar right there. hoping to get it, but now TSM's actually primed for a counterattack. Nautilus plus Yasuo is a hell of a combo.
Santorin walked down on that one. Are they going to get another one? Where's the explosive cast go? No, Santorin's 5. They only have a bit of follow-up damage. Is it enough to get a kill, though? They do have Xmithie in. He flashes. Oh, it's going to be one last. Bjergsen might go down. The wind wall stops it. They're going to sit and look.
Pobelter is rolling up to
right
try and catch Bjergsen, but the rest of TSM would have to come down to help him.
ZionSpartan has an exit. They can walk him out. Big brother Pobelter comes up to walk everybody into safety, and they're going to be able to get out of that one.
The Secret Service escort there.
Getting a little chilly in here.
Pobelter able to get the low health members out from under the turret. Doublelift ruining his accuracy percentage.
Everybody calms down. Nothing to see here. No first blood has been had, despite the chaos and mayhem we just saw in the top lane. It does show that Dyrus is actually getting a pretty big edge on ZionSpartan. It all started with the level 1 in the jungle, but Dyrus has actually been pushing that advantage pretty well, and he's ahead of ZionSpartan in the defense versus offense arms race. Nautilus wants to get to his Frozen Heart and health stacking really soon. ZionSpartan wants to get to his Cleaver, and Dyrus has already been able to get that Glacial Shroud.
Yeah, it's so difficult going to lane, already chunked and with no potion there. Takes away a lot of Gnar's early game, where he wants to try and be the bully and harass from range.
It's good for Dyrus, though. He's had these games so far in this series where ZionSpartan or the duo has been able to take control. So for Dyrus to be starting off well on that front line tank Nautilus, it should help TSM in these mid-game fights. See if he can keep ZionSpartan down a bit. Phage built up now to Dyrus's Glacial Shroud as we start to pan out into this game. 10 minutes now. CLG feeling comfortable with their lead. They don't really have to pressure anything here. They can make TSM make all the moves.
Yeah, this is one of those games that looks more apt to be the TSM pace that they are comfortable with, because it's very clearly going to be going into a team fight phase.
And this game, honestly, because of the level 1, should be more in favor than TSM. Instead,
Lustboy!
And he gets caught in the first roam here.
He dodges the Time Winder, so he's going to be able to get out of that. The concussive blows almost cost him his life as they were all quickly procced out. A lot of resources used for Lustboy.
0 for 2.
That would have had to have been an atomic arrow if they wanted to get that one out. Pobelter may have been in laser range, though. They are still trying. Still going into the jungle here after using ultimates. Have the summoners to do it. Let's see how they come out.
Both top laners also have teleport if this does erupt into a big-time fight, but with Lustboy being down summoner spells, it's kind of difficult for TSM to collapse on. Speaking of which, Bjergsen is looking for it.
ZionSpartan just charged up his Rage Bar for this, and Dyrus was huddling under his turret at the time. Both of them trying to prep for this fight. It goes down to a smite fight that Xmithie wins.
Gnar bar in the top lane. This could be good timing if Dyrus can get out of this with a high amount of HP to teleport down. They'd have small Gnar for the fight. It still looks like the do-si-do here for wards in the bot. Xmithie's going to pick up Scuttle, and actually everybody disperses from the area for now for Dragon.
That invade, though, from CLG to catch Lustboy. That was so lucky for TSM that both Santorin and Lustboy were level 6 for the double disengage. That's why we keep highlighting the Janna and the Gragas.
And I think we're going to be seeing more of that as this game moves towards the team fight phase. The fact that TSM has actually taken so much disengage is looking to hamstring CLG's aggression a little bit. Obviously, CLG has good initiation tools, maybe even great initiation tools. Ashe Arrow, plus Ekko, plus a Gnar ultimate all together. But the disengage is also so great, so it's going to be a really cute back and forth of who can engage on whom. TSM actually would have the more reliable initiation, mainly because CLG doesn't have the same disengage tools, and one Yasuo ultimate can wreak havoc.
Yeah. And what just happened here was there was a ward up top. Santorin walked on the ward. Very clear call there from CLG. We've got information on the jungler. Punish him on the opposite side of the map. Easily done, very well executed. They get the dragon for it. Santorin doesn't get anything for his gank. And recalls from the brush in river. So not much gain for him on the top side. Still struggling a bit.
CLG should definitely know, or be knowing what they're looking at. 4 out of the last 6 wins at the end of the split were Janna Gragas compositions. TSM had a few of them themselves, but CLG, this is their bread and butter composition that they've been running.
Flowed for this arrow.
Yeah, well, CLG loves being able to choose their own engagements, so that's why their disengage is so valuable, especially with their style of constantly pushing up to enemy turrets and just sieging them down again and again. Incredibly pivotal.
Santorin is waiting for another lane counter gank here, but look at this. Pobelter comes in from behind the turret,
counter the counter gank.
And the teleports as well.
Oh, Pobelter, like you said, from behind the turret, they weren't expecting him right away. The exhaust for the body slam as well, mitigating some of the damage. Belter stays alive. The laser just missing. One more attack. Nobody's going through the turret. A good call as well. CLG may have gone deeper there previously, but CLG wants the turret now.
It's miraculous the Pobelter made it to that spot without being seen or called by Bjergsen from the mid lane. That's so much of the pressure from Viktor being able to shove up the lane and then roam. Eventually, he can get where he wants to go.
Well, it's also because of the wards they laid down to get that dragon. They've got double pink wards in the river, so Pobelter can feel confident pushing his lane and then roaming. Gets all the way behind the turret, and even with the teleport answered from Dyrus having to cancel it there, CLG, another first blood.
Yeah, as you said, he walks through the double pinks in the river to get there. Aphro got super aggressive because they're honestly planning a dive. Santorin looks like he's going to throw a wrench into things, and it's actually Zion with the clutch interrupt. If Nautilus came in there, this could have been a much different fight.
Definitely would have turned towards TSM favor.
Those little things continue to fall in CLG's favor, and they're not just falling in, I should say, absolutely rewarding to the plays they're making.
Oh, he missed the sweep.
Ooh. Yeah. Just over on the other side. The rest of CLG is going to be here to party. And it looks like we got a crowd, actually. A whole 5v5 may go on after this one. Bjergsen throws out the wall. Concussive blows is down. Xmithie goes in by himself. The team can't really close that gap just yet. Dyrus takes the arrow to the face. Should be safe in this situation with the flash out. A lot of back and forth there with some summoner spells.
TSM do take down the turret, but CLG now pressing back. They want to answer here.
And there's the Gragas disengaged down, the Nautilus ult down. Bjergsen doesn't have very many ways to get into the fight at this point. So CLG feeling pretty confident to move up. The Gragas body slam could still net Bjergsen a nice knock-up target.
That's true.
Lustboy Howling Gale
almost got the setup there with the tornado.
Dyrus just back without teleport there.
The punishment as well. TSM doesn't really have wave clear to stop this as well, so it's a lot of damage they can get down. Kog'Maw doing his best with the Gragas. Really almost no turret damage goes down. I wonder how long TSM will hold this as Dyrus pushes down the bottom lane.
Yeah, the reason CLG were doing this is because they had a big wave down bottom. Now they know that Dyrus is down there without teleport because of Zion being able to cancel it in the last play. So they were going to get a turret either way. It was either a bunch of damage from the minions down bottom, or they have to give up the outer turret, and CLG, their pressure is rewarded.
Yep, they can disperse now, leave a Doublelift towards that top side to free farm as he loves to. Let's see what kind of core items we get on. 15 minutes in. Yeah, that is going to be Aphromoo.
The king.
If he wasn't slowing you enough already.
Oh, wow, and CLG gets an ideal solo turret kill for Doublelift. They love being able to isolate him with turrets since he is such a core part of their late-game team fighting strategy. Surprising they're able to get that solo kill 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, funnily enough, slow's no longer stacked, so red buff on Braum.
Virtually useless.
Pretty much, but he gets regeneration, so.
And the damage. If he hits him, you get the burn.
Yeah, man.
It's true. That hot ice. 22, or rather 2K ahead as they're at 24,000 gold right now. CLG, the small leads they've had, they have been able to catapult those into very, very large leads, and it happens quick, not usually slowly throughout the game. We've seen ace upon ace in these games right now. One for TSM, one for CLG, and CLG is always coming up in the dragon fights when it matters, when their waves are ready to push a turret. TSM usually has a few things to repair. Again, CLG ready at the turret. See if TSM can hold this one off for now. Looks like they'll have the power in numbers, but that may be the only safe way to travel for the time being.
I'm very curious if, so Aphromoo in enemy territory here, but he's able to get out.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Pobelter will go with a more defensive build like Doublelift as well, since Doublelift rushed for the Bloodthirster that he likes to do. He's going to have a shield for Yasuo all in.
Gets super aggressive.
But that would just, all
right, he still wants it.
Nice wind wall.
Glacial Fissure fizzled out. Nothing coming of it there. The wind wall from Bjergsen perfectly placed down. TSM gets another look at the fight.
Yeah, and the Dragon setup had been favoring CLG with vision control, but now they are down a Gnar teleport as well as a flash ultimate onto Aphromoo. Pretty much nothing bird from TSM. So if TSM was going to take a fight, it would be around now. They just have to make sure not to be in the corridor to eat the Viktor damage.
The only thing for TSM that's bad is that Turtle's really low on mana, and Kog'Maw actually does rely significantly on that for the team fight. Looks like they're going to come up and fight.
This is almost surely a fight.
ZionSpartan still level 10. There's a lot of level 11s on the side of Team Solomid. Dyrus hooks out of that one. TSM trying to restructure this one for themselves. The Gnar bar is out. They're trying to wait for that to cool down, but their health bars are not going to last that long. Chaos Storm slowly chasing as it starts to go out, and they now want to re-engage, just like outside their base. They're trying to calculate when and when not they can go in for this. And Dragon looks like he's just going to be angry for this entire time. Nobody has the focus.
Dragon wins that team fight. Fights both teams off. Everybody has to
fight another day. So many resources burned from that one. Low mana on tons of people. Turtle's going to stick around to try and finish this turret, but this means he's going to be slow on the next Dragon fight. This actually could cost TSM the next Dragon, the fact that Turtle's trying to push this wave in. He already had his Trinity Force, and he's only sitting on 700 gold, so the fact that he didn't get the turret, that's actually very critical.
Yeah, he's going to be really slow back out there now.
It's basically CLG's Dragon. All right.
Unfortunate turn of events. Again, the small things that continue to affect Team Solomid.
ZionSpartan Gnar in that last team fight. His timing of jumping in with Mega Gnar has been impeccable throughout this series, but that one was the same. And as he jumped in, the entire fight dispersed. TSM actually would have had the upper hand, but they themselves reset the fight because Zion was going to get such an amazing Gnar ultimate.
The wave not partially cleared by Monsoon, so there was no follow-up. Avoid ooze. A full minion wave helps them take down mid-turret now. We'll see what they can do with 15 seconds towards Baron. There's no coverage there, and it's still about the Dragon.
Oh, that vision.
That's a stun on Lustboy.
Deja vu for Lustboy. Can he get out of it the second time? The arrow hits this time, however, and now they're on to Bjergsen. He tried to cover, dangle that carrot to the entire team. This might be a bad pinch for Counter Logic Gaming. If Bjergsen can get back in, he goes in for Xmithie, but gets taken down immediately with that Time Winder. They're going to start trading kills back and forth. Wildturtle in a bad spot. Doublelift may be able to clean up a few more before a Cathian surprise, and he does get one. A double kill for Turtle in his death, and CLG come up with the ace at 20 minutes.
Another bloodbath fight, but this one favors CLG because of the ace. Incredibly close back and forth, but ultimately because Lustboy was caught at the start of the fight, CLG gains the upper hand.
Yep, they're going to get the Dragon off it. They also had bottom wave pushing, so it does get to the turret. Lustboy is going to be there to try and salvage these minions. Looks like he's going to even hold it here and wait for Turtle to arrive.
Yeah, such a close fight here because of how tight the corridor was.
This is what preparation and vision control will do for you. Lustboy didn't have his ultimate, the long cooldown from that last team fight, and they do take him out.
So Bjergsen actually used Last Breath onto Doublelift really early on in the fight, and then he flashed the arrow after that. So everyone's incredibly low as they're chasing after this one.
Turtle not able to choose the target there. Does get another stack of Braum on him, and Doublelift procs it for the kill.
Yeah. Doublelift with his Bloodthirster Ashe, more defensive capabilities. If it was an Eye-Edge Ashe, he would have been zeroed out at the start of that fight and wouldn't have been able to do damage. That's really important in the greater context of this, because that also would have meant that Bjergsen, since he would have taken fewer auto attacks from Ashe, may have even cleaned up that fight with Yasuo as he was trying to dash through the sides at the end of that one.
Counter Logic Gaming playing very smooth right now in the series as well. And we can also see why Ashe pretty much taken away from them that first game. They can just go clean initiations now, being up.
Yeah, and the second half of that I was wondering about a couple minutes ago is, would Pobelter also build with the defensive route? And he has gone with the early Zhonya's this time, deviating from the last game.
Aphro gets really aggro. They get Wildturtle!
Turtle in the back. He's going to go down immediately. Xmithie finds his priority target. Santorin follows. Here we go. Xmithie on the double kill. They're chasing for Dyrus and Lustboy. But do CLG head down mid? No, they start tailing onto TSM. Time Winder doesn't hit. They have to choose a new target.
CLG is not giving TSM time to breathe. Right after the Dragon goes down, they go right back to the mid lane. They're using their chains of initiation really well there. Turtle had the cleanse down, meaning he was a target for the arrow, and that moves into a 22-minute Baron attempt.
This is honestly a CLG we see playing past when CLG was their best. These guys are playing amazingly from top to bottom. Xmithie is showing up well now with big criticisms in the beginning of the split for him, as well as Pobelter. Will he show up? And he is.
Yeah, coming into this series as well, CLG, the only way they ought to qualify for Worlds is if they win this. If they lose, they'd have to go play in the regional qualifiers. So a 3-0 here is of so much importance.
They've provided themselves with the path here. The first time they're seeded into playoffs as well. They get a chance to look at the other teams, see what they're up against, and they just take it to them. It really seems to be that year for CLG, but TSM still has a say. Only 23 minutes into game number 3. They are still alive in this series and still fighting back.
Yeah, we're kind of reaching that critical mass point for CLG, though, because it is a 6,000 gold lead with the Baron buff. And this is exactly the moment when CLG wants to have the Baron buff. Wildturtle can't clear the minions. He's not farmed enough yet, especially Baron minions. And the core weakness, as you will, of a Yasuo mid is your susceptibility to siege, especially when the other team has Baron buff. Basically, it's a 5,500 gold differential, and if TSM wants to stop the turret cascade, they have to fight with that difference.
Plus, they don't even just have to be worried about the siege. CLG are also very well prepared to go for a dive as well. These side turrets are even more dangerous to defend.
Yeah, I mean, the outer turrets are the dangerous ones, but at the same time, if they let the outer ones be taken, the gold lead balloons into 9,000 and 10,000, and the game becomes even more insurmountable. So you'd almost think this is the do or die moment for TSM, but really, there's such a small win condition if they do fight.
Yep. Flexing their muscles here with parallel convergence just to get the push off of the turret as it goes down. Still going to work this Baron buff towards the bottom lane. Getting this inhibitor would really open up the map for Counter Logic Gaming, something they've owned pretty much every game from the get-go. Even with a bit of a mistake this game, they've been able to route that and find themselves back into an advantage.
Yeah, with this Baron buff, they can just continue to switch targets, move over to the next secondary turret here. They're laying down wards as they travel through the jungle, keep TSM boxed up inside their own base so that TSM's own wards will expire. Here they go for the initiation, though. They found Doublelift.
Might be getting themselves a little too sure of that. I don't think this is going to work. Aphromoo goes down. False sense of security for CLG. They feel like they're a little more powerful, maybe. Still staying for the fight, a 5v4 as they start to split up. Bjergsen in a 1v1 now with Xmithie. That did not look like it was going his way, and he has to back off. Dyrus now for the peel, but he goes to the front. Bjergsen called for that. They wanted the last breath. ZionSpartan's able to hit it. Doublelift stays alive with the Bloodthirster build. Lustboy in the middle. The Monsoon goes off, but it's all he's got for the team. TSM is now all for themselves. Can Santorin stay alive? No, he does over the wall. Yes, another kill coming in for Ekko. Xmithie comes up. That's a triple over the entire fight, and I don't think they're going to be able to clean it finally. Dyrus stays alive after the initiation with Santorin.
TSM finds the impossible fight. Down 7,000 gold against a Baron team. They actually get a clean engage in the jungle that isn't in defense of their turrets right there. This type of fight is the only thing that can keep TSM alive in this game, and they got it.
And they barely came out. They barely came out with some gold after it, too.
Yeah, I mean, now, CLG was so spread at the start of this one.
Yeah, so this one, initially, Doublelift actually able to juke Santorin and flashes the wall at the same time. There's a desync between Dyrus and Santorin. Santorin actually knocks Pobelter out of the way from the hook. But then the big re-engage is here, where they set up Bjergsen for the Yasuo ultimate. It's the Janna into the hook here, and he's able to get to. Pobelter gets annihilated.
That's the biggest thing in this fight is Pobelter getting annihilated. ZionSpartan doesn't quite get Gnar at the right time.
The Lustboy reset of the fight for TSM. Xmithie did have a pretty big ulti there on Ekko, though.
Also, we have to point out that Xmithie is 7-0 on Ekko, the tank Ekko, meaning the DPS of CLG is not the main holders of this 6,000 gold advantage, so the teamfights will be a little bit closer. TSM corner themselves off. I think we got another fight on our hands.
Bit of a shield there in the parallel convergence, but they are on to Xmithie. He's going to be out of the fight. Whoa! Jumping straight in. Doublelift now coming from the top side. ZionSpartan had a beautiful ultimate as they continue the fight. TSM definitely in retreat on this one as they lose Santorin. They're on their way for Lustboy now. He should have the movement speed to get away, and this should mean some lane pressure coming in.
But they're on the wrong side of the map, Riv. This is TSM running into CLG's base.
Yeah, it's a full retreat. They are so scattered right here. Bjergsen is turned tail and ran. CLG's actually pretty low in this chase, but they should clean up.
Luckily
they're beating up.
for Team Solomid, CLG's waves are still on CLG's side of the map, but there is a dragon that's alive, and that's TSM pretty much losing any pressure. They just gained
Oh, he got the slow
advantage out of the last fight. Winter's Sparrow across the top side of the wall. Aphro flashed over Raptor Pit to make it count. The plays keep coming.
The great bait.
TSM sticking around in the lane just for some minion farm there. Wow, CLG just took over with that.
The amount of pressure these teams are under right now, Kobe. Madison Square Garden, TSM been in every single LCS final. CLG never won an LCS final. TSM does not want to let their longtime rivals pick up the first round, and they're down not only 2-0 in the series, but also by a substantial amount of gold in this game. They are sticking around because they're trying to claw their way back, and they do not have the fallback pattern of wave clear that they are so accustomed to having, so they have to fight.
Yeah, the only pattern that they do have is a full wombo fight, and they haven't been able to do it.
Very interesting setup that we see TSM going with. Yasuo played by ZionSpartan. Not seen too much in Bjergsen coming out of the season, coming out of any of the playoffs. Now Yasuo, each side of the map.
Yeah.
Does not seem like Team Solomid was ready. That communication still on the engages. Lustboy's been there to save a lot of people, not to help a fight reset and go back in.
The only thing TSM are hoping for now is finding somebody out of position.
Yeah.
Trying to punish CLG for splitting up, trying to use a numbers advantage, but looks like CLG already flanking around. Aphromoo's real deep in their territory, laying down wards, prepping for this Baron. CLG gonna try and bait in and get one of the picks with their Ashe arrow if TSM try and check this Baron.
Dyrus trying to add a little bit of pressure on the bottom.
Arrow.
Yeah, it would be from the fog, so
waiting.
have a potential clean shot.
Santorin might have a pretty good move.
Really poor vision control by TSM here. They have a scrying orb as well as a Kog'Maw to try and scout the brushes, but if they miss one of them, it's either a Baron going down or a clean fight for CLG, and at this juncture in the game with the lead that CLG has already accumulated, could very well be the NALCS championship.
Ooh, the team called for a shot due to the fact that they had TSM split on the left and bottom side. Dyrus is the only one getting hit, right. And it does not look like they want to follow. Chaos Storm, 50% HP. Wildturtle does get hit by the boomerang, but there's not much follow-up right now. And it looks like Team Solomid able to take a breath here after almost getting engaged on.
Well, this is all the preparation of CLG. They prep the top
still
wave.
in their favor.
They prep the top wave before they start doing these Baron baits. So even if it's unsuccessful, they got a big wave into the turret there. Bjergsen's forced to move up, and CLG retreat.
And now Turtle's at half health from the last half engage, so he needs the time to lifesteal off of this one, whereas CLG really didn't take the damage from that. Ashe are already half off of cooldown. They are trying their best to keep the pressure applied.
They don't have much to save each other either, other than that Monsoon. Cleanse and
they
cleanse.
get the stuns.
That's on the Turtle. Still can't cleanse. He tries to use it, but he still gets hit so hard. Flown into the fight. Turtle's alive with the Storm Shield from Lustboy as he's keeping an eye and the team is peeling, but CLG continues to try for the kills.
Lustboy with the flash Monsoon.
Ridiculous.
He can only do that once every 5 minutes, though. Can't afford to make that mistake again. That cost them the flash not only on Lustboy, but also all of Turtle's summoners as well. He is extremely vulnerable now.
Yeah, and TSM is also in an incredibly inconvenient part of the game. There are Frozen Hearts and Randwind's Omens completed on the side of CLG, and the physical damage dealers of Yasuo and Kog'Maw on TSM's side are not even close to Last Whisper. Turtle gets hit!
No way! Backing right in the middle around Baron. They had the ward, but their CLG is absolutely cleaning up in the middle of the rift right now. Team Solomid gets caught backing.
You can only hold out for so long against CLG goes for Baron.
They burned all of Turtle's summoners in the last engage. This barring an... Okay, if that tornado steals, all right, it's not been long enough. Aphro's gonna stop it, and CLG grab Baron.
Little love for Bloodwater. It's all right, though. Didn't happen.
It's been done before.
Oh, my gosh. This, however, by CLG has not been done before. What stellar play coming into the playoffs throughout as well, and that feel good for them. But they are absolutely showing that they came out. We'll see this once again in this
Turtle
replay.
didn't walk into the brush with the rest of his team that was under pink ward cover.
Wow.
And that prompted the Ashe arrow from Doublelift. Game-defining recall fail right there from Wildturtle. And the rest of CLG can just pile
And
it.
you have to figure how strong CLG thinks they are. With pink ward coverage in that, it might just be a Turtle bait. But they didn't care at all.
Now, locking down Turtle, he's had to use his cleanse pretty much on cooldown this game.
Yeah, it was already
There's
down.
been so much focus on him. And now another Baron buff push. And the only way TSM defends is with the fight.
Down to the bottom turret. Same story, just on the other side of the map. CounterLogic Gaming was here around the same time last game. 1 minute on Dragon brings them to 4. It's something they may not even need to go for. They're not onto the turret just yet. They're actually going for more kills still with the arrow down. They give a little of assurance to Team Solomid. They can hang out for a bit. Xmithie does have the chrono break to get into a good situation, but his shadow's now still inside, so he can fight. Aphromoo going salami, tanking that turret. He knows he goes down. He's letting the team fight, just tanking the turret completely, knowing CounterLogic Gaming is stronger. The double kill, the triple kill now coming in for Pobelter. Doublelift's gonna clean one up. 40 seconds on the clock, boys.
And the faithful shall be rewarded. CLG take the inhibitor. They're going to take the Nexus turrets, and they're going to take a trip to Worlds.
This is going to be it. CounterLogic Gaming fighting every season since there has been one, and now taking down Team Solomid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split champions.
A well-earned 3-0 by CLG. They crafted the team compositions, they stepped up to the pressure, and they executed time and time again when it mattered. Huge kill scores in these games against TSM. They fought early and often, and they don't drop a single game throughout the playoffs.
Absolutely crazy. 3-0. CounterLogic Gaming over Team Solomid. And CounterLogic Gaming is your 2015 North American Summer Split champion. Something they have wanted for so long, and you know what? It's something the fans wanted for a long time as well, so I'm sure...
She has been hyped up going into the playoffs and then just fallen flat on their face. You almost never thought this moment would come, but it just happened. 3-0 against TSM.
And it was due to contributions from every single member on the team.
Every bit of it.
There's the trophy.
A lot of hard work these guys put in to get here today. Every split would start to drown out towards the end. This one started to go uphill, and you know what? They went to the top.
Also to come to New York in Madison Square Garden and have by far their best playoff performance ever. Xmithie, no memes for this one.
Nope.
Other than great Ekko and Gragas ultimates throughout.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have a good ring to it, so it's not going to catch on, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, you're going to need some work on that, Jatt.
Doublelift getting his chance at Worlds. The supporting staff of CounterLogic Gaming, coaches, analysts, and the like, all part of this win right here. Fantastically played by the team.
Huhi as well, rarely mentioned since we haven't seen him on the stage, but coming in, practicing with Pobelter in the mid lane.
Over and over.
Their coach, Blurred Lines, never on the stage with them for picks and bans because that is done by their analyst, Zeke's Law. So really the whole crew out there for CLG basking in the victory.
That's right. All right, right now we are going to send it down to